Well, Magnus went one more time for a London system. d4, d5, bishop f4 was played in his game against Anton Korobov. That's the resulting position after the opening. I would really be worried with black because an h-file is semi-open for white. A knight jump followed by, you know, bringing the queen into h5 or something. I would be worried. Korobov doesn't look like he's worried.
He doesn't look worried at all.
Yeah, so
he
knight
looks so
g6.
peaceful.
Yeah, well, cemented the king side with knight to g6. dc5 though. Does Magnus win a pawn here? You can't really take e4 because, I mean, you can, but after bishop e4, rook is attacked, queens come off, and then white will emerge with an extra pawn and probably a winning position. So d takes c5, and what he has to do? Perhaps he has to recapture after knight c5 to play something like queen to b6 and try to prove some sort of a compensation. So at least white piece is getting distracted from the king side. So no main danger on the king side anymore. It could be.
So what were the last moves? He just pushed c5?
Knight e4. No, well, yeah, let's check where c5... Yeah, c5 was played on move 2. So
okay, that changes the
let's
scenario.
say somewhere around here, well, there was a change in the structure because white went for e4. Korobov took on g3. I think I've seen this one. And not precisely... I'm not sure of knight e7, you know? Somewhere around here. Well, this is known. I think Gatakamsky had games like this, not one game, but some of, well, a few games. All right, well, later on, after e4, black takes on g3, which does seem to be very dangerous. Now e5 is a huge threat, so you have to take on e4. And once again, you're not in time to exchange because the rook would be hanging and h7 pawn would be hanging. So
yes,
black
you wish your
gets,
bishop was already on b7, but
yeah,
you can't
knight
just
g6 takes and bishop to b7. So which is another way to try to claim some compensation. So for instance, knight f6, queen f6, and at least black gets some initiative. Knight takes f6, queen f6 played. So no attack for white, let's say.
But a pawn up.
Yeah, a pawn up takes, and then something like rook d8 has to be played, I guess. C b6, then something like f to d8 I would really consider. Pinning the bishop. I don't think white can play this because of what? Knight e5 perhaps. Yeah, knight e5. Even though it allows bishop h7, but yeah, but somehow your pieces are hanging in the air. Knight f3 is a threat. Queen is, let's say, hanging. Yeah, and I'm kind of threatening g6 and king g7 later on. I mean, I wouldn't be that pessimistic with black in this case, because if you recapture, then white can simply castle, give away the idea of kingside attack, but be just a pawn up with no visible counterplay from black.
Yes, and after rook fd8, if he just moves away the queen from the d file,
queen e2,
then your plan would be to capture on f3 and jump knight e5, or what is the
Not really. There is no plan. In fact, I was hoping for you to blunder something on d file. Yeah, after queen e2, I'll probably, well, it's sad news, but I'll probably have to recapture on b6, and then once again it comes to this castle,
and it's a pawn up.
Pawn up, really. Or bishop e4, already trying to simplify the position. No, bishop e4, bishop a6. Now, it's better to castle first than, yeah, castle, play rook d1. Well, black does have some, let's say, practical compensation, but not...
Bishop takes g6
because not rook
e5.
fd8, but e5 was played, threatening
e4, so he
bishop
must
g6.
do something.
Bishop g6. Ah, well, that's interesting. I think the point of it is, well, you don't want to take with an f-pawn, right? So h takes. And then, for a second, I thought queen d7 intending queen h3, which would be a nice geometry, but I think bishop c8 is there. I think bishop c8 is there.
Queen d5?
Queen
well,
d
okay, I can never really capture the pawn with the king on e1.
Queen d5. Yeah, but you have to move the queen though. So
yeah.
Queen d5 is probably not a bad move, because after bishop e6 you will take on e5.
Then I would take, but
yeah,
basically you can place the bishop anywhere, but not
anywhere
e6.
like a6 possibly. Yeah, stopping the short castle. But, well, might be nothing wrong with castling long, once again. Threatening e5. The h-file is open. Yeah, I think white
this is a pawn up and a better position. I don't understand what the compensation is.
Yeah, something has happened. I think it's safe to say that white must be winning objectively. And Queen D7 indeed was played. So, well, to illustrate, if black plays something like bishop c6, a move with a tempo, then white goes to h3 and you don't have forces to stop queen h8 mate. So f6, you would love to play f6, but yeah, it's blocked.
I don't like this e5 move by Korobov. Maybe there's not enough compensation, but I thought that rook d8 was at least, or taking back on b6.
Yeah, well, you could really take back on b6. So this time it does look very good for a world champion.
Let's see how is Mamedyarov doing against Vichy.
Yeah, Mamedyarov, by the way, joins
to say... What happened after queen d7?
After queen d7, I think Magnus... Could it be that he blundered this move? Because I did blunder this move, to be honest. So the point being that after queen h3, there is f7, f6.
That's what we wanted before.
Yeah.
Magnus Carlsen down below a minute, and Korobov has 7 minutes.
So what has happened after queen b6? He went knight g5, once again ups, it jumps. After knight g5, he is threatening queen h3 again, but it was bishop f2, bishop g2, covering h3, castle long.
Wow.
Rook a to b8.
Wait a second.
b3 and queen f2.
Oh, wait a second, I need to understand. So he was offering the h1 rook, because if you take, there was mate
queen h3. Right. Queen takes f2 and queen g4, protecting the horsey. And black just played rook c8. Ups, not d8, but c8.
Who is getting mated?
Who's getting mated? I think it's Magnus who is getting mated, I'm afraid, at least in case of queen h4, because it's rook c3, king b1, and now queen c2 would be a terrible mistake, because after king a1 you don't have any checks, but rook takes b3 wins. Rook b3, a b3, once again rook b3, and queen b2 mate. So what a guy Korobov is, I must admit.
Incredible. He's doing a great tournament. Magnus Carlsen, below 10 seconds, he doesn't know what to do. He goes king b1.
King b1.
Well, what does this change if he takes on c3?
I don't know.
I blunder something?
It looks like black can actually take the rook in this moment. Just to get rid of this, I mean, this tension, to take the rook. Queen h4, there is still f6, right?
But look at this. Korobov has this position with 6.5 minutes on the clock.
So it's clear that, well, there must be a clear solution for black, and he precisely has the time, which is very important, but he has the time to spend it to find
rook takes c3, threatening rook b3.
Oops. And black doesn't.
And Magnus has 12 seconds, but maybe it doesn't matter how much time he has on his clock. This position seems to be lost.
Queen to b4. Oh, I wouldn't be so sure, because this resource, and apparently Korobov blundered it as well. This resource is easy to blunder. That's why I wanted to take the rook, just to make sure, you know.
But what if we go back with the rook?
I don't know. It's probably nothing, but hang on a second. Over there, after taking h1, and imagine white recaptures, we take c3, and after, well, there is no such thing as queen b4.
He played rook c8.
There is no such thing as queen b4.
c8.
Rook
yeah, it's
c3
true,
to
it's
c8.
True. But I think even like this, I don't see what's wrong with this position. He went back with the rook, defending the rook on b8.
Rook to c8. Queen c2 is a threat, and Magnus resigns.
The clock, there's just nothing that he can do. Well, he could go to h4, but you capture the rook in that moment.
Oh, queen c2, yes. So Korobov beats Magnus Carlsen with the black pieces being pawned down after the opening. So really terrifying performance from the world champion.
Wow, this is not his tournament. He's the defending champion. He won in Berlin the Rapid. In Blitz he could not, but now this time he is not defending his Rapid title. He won the previous 2 editions, and he's the only one who won the Rapid World Championship twice. He's not getting a 3rd title, not this year.
Okay.
In the tournament? What is it like for you to skip Christmas and actually spend the last year playing chess?
Yeah, I'm a professional chess player, but you guys also big professionals. You are following us everywhere, even in this small bus. And the first thing I will do after returning home, I will check my bathroom. Yeah, maybe you will appear there. Yeah.
I might just appear. I'm not sure if I will appear in your bathroom, but maybe at your front door.